Hello everyone and welcome to the MegaMix Mastery Speedrun Guide. In this guide I will show you how to use the Bulldog in order to get the best time you can and how to do the glitch to get the infinite jump so that way you can boost yourself to the top of the leaderboards. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. As always, you can customize your button assignments for your controller. In order to do this, you will need to go to your system settings, go up to accessibility, go down to controllers, go to custom button assignments for DualSense wireless controller, and then you will need to enable custom button assignments, and then you can go down to the customized button assignments. I personally like to change the trigger buttons to the bumpers whenever I'm playing these stages. So I will swap my L2 to L1, go over to my R2, swap it to R1, and once you are done customizing your controller, just hit apply. This is what I prefer, but just kind of play around with it, figure out what you like, and use what's best for you. This run will be broken up into 3 major sections. The first section just being the normal Bulldog route, the second section being the bear route now using the Bulldog, and the last section being the infinite jump section. It is important to note that it is just as crucial to do the Bulldog section correctly as the infinite jump glitch in order to get your time as low as possible. The run begins at the Bulldog section, so let's go ahead and start there. As I stated before, you want to be able to master the buffering technique with the Bulldog. This will ensure that you get the best time you possibly can and that you're not wasting any time running on the ground when you should be boosting. I've decided to break the Bulldog section up into 3 smaller sections. You have the first bells, the double bells, and then the drum. Before the stage begins, you want to push Astro all the way up to the ribbon and slightly to the left because we're going to need to go over this little marker on the ground, and then we're going to need to boost from it to the next platform. I typically use a mid-range boost and then a full boost whenever I get to the next platform. This is my preferred method, but if you want to do a short boost and then a full boost, or a longer than a mid-range boost and then a full boost, that is completely fine. All of them have the same amount of timing. No one is slower or faster than the other one. Whenever you do these boosts, you do want to go slightly to the left, but you still want to go mainly straight. That's kind of the key here, is that you have enough boost to barely make it onto the bell platform. So the key here is to go as straight as possible, but you want to barely be turning to the left and right as you can. This first bell is actually going to force you toward the bell, and there's nothing you can really do to change your direction. Once you do land on this platform, you're going to want to walk just for a few frames and then immediately do your long range boost to barely make it onto this platform where the last bell is. What I like to look for is as I'm walking on this platform at the bell, you can see that there's this little graphic that has kind of a rectangular shape on the edge of the platform. As soon as I run up to it, that's whenever I start my full boost, and then that will get me to the next platform. Now, whenever you boost from the first bell to the second bell, you're going to want to point your camera down so you have a top-down view of Astro, and you're going to want to hold pointing that camera down all the way up until you get to the platform where the second bell is. It is crucial that you do this in order to get past the next section of the Bulldog. When you do land on this platform where the second bell is, you're going to need to do a small jump and then do a boost about 3 frames later in order to hit this trampoline up here. If you try to do it too quickly, then you'll notice that you'll hang on the edge of the trampoline, and this will cost you a little bit of time. So just try not to get too eager and make sure that you are high enough that you hit the trampoline as soon as you reach it and you're not scraping along the edge of it. That now puts us in the second section of the Bulldog, which is the double bell section. We will need to destroy both of these bells as quickly as possible to spawn the next set of platforms, navigate across those quickly and efficiently, and destroy the frog to get to the trampoline. Once you get up here where the double bells are, you're going to want to do 2 boosts. One which should go about halfway across the platform, and then the second one which should reach the bell on the right side. And then you want to immediately do another burst all the way across to the left bell. It is very important that you go right to left instead of left to right, because if you go left to right, you're going to have to do another boost in order to reach the platforms that spawn in after you destroy both of the bells, and this will cost you some time. So make sure that you always go from the right bell to the left bell, and then do 1 long boost to reach the platform as it spawns. One last thing I would like to note is that you may think you want to go directly toward the right bell. You actually want to stay fairly in the middle of the platform until you do your second boost on this platform to hit the right bell. If you go directly at the bell, you're going to do a longer boost to get to the left bell, and it will make making the long boost to the platform as it spawns in a lot more difficult to make. After you destroy the bell on the left, you're going to want to do 1 long boost to this platform as it appears before you, and you want to barely land on the edge so that way we can immediately boost and go to the next platform. If you find that you're not making it or you do not have enough distance to make it to this platform, Veer Astro ever so slightly to the left, and that should get you just enough that you barely make it onto this first platform. Making it to the second platform that spawns in should be pretty easy, and this platform is actually just slightly ever below you, so you can actually end your boost a little earlier than normal and you'll still be able to make it. Again, you want to barely land on the edge of it and then immediately boost to the next platform. Knowing how to buffer the boost is incredibly useful here because it is really easy to be walking across these platforms and losing a lot of time and not even realizing it. When you boost to the frog platform, just go to the right of the frog and completely ignore it. And if you are in the correct spot on the right side, you should be able to immediately boost to this platform above you and then boost on to the trampoline. Once you hit the trampoline, this will bring us to the final area of the dog, which is the drum section. This section is fairly short, but it is very important and it is imperative that you do it correctly or you can lose a lot of time without realizing it. And most of this time loss is at the drum that you're going to need to knock down and then get a bounce from it in order to get up to the next section. Whenever you do bounce from the trampoline, you're going to want to boost as early as possible so that way you can knock the drum down as soon as you possibly can, but also not be too low by doing your boost too early and running into the electric panels. If you do your boost a little later, you're actually losing twice as many frames. So let me explain it this way. Whenever you go up, you will go up one frame, and then whenever you do go up one frame too far, you have to come back down one frame in order to hit the drum. So for every frame you do your boost too late, you actually lose 2 frames. When you bounce from the drum, again, do a boost as early as you can to get on the platform where these 3 slimes are. We will actually be using these slimes in order to carry the Bulldog power up into the bear section. What you want to do is you want to stay on the left side of this platform and do a boost in order to destroy both of these slimes. When you do, you should be on the edge near where this platform is that has the trampoline on it. You want to boost and go out to the left, and you want to go to the left of this butterfly on the map. When you do this boost off of the slime platform, you do want to boost a little bit longer than normal because we want to bait this shot from the green slime outwards a little bit more. That will make it a lot easier to get the Bulldog into the next section. I would also recommend pointing your camera down during this part because it will make landing on the green slime shot a lot easier. Whenever you do end your boost, you're going to want to hover and then bring yourself around to the right. I usually aim for the right side of this dark edge of the platform and try to land there. When you land on the edge of this platform, you should see the pellet shot from the green slime coming into view. So as soon as you land, just do a full jump in a mid-air spin, and this should give you a really good setup to where you can land on the green slime. You will need to jump as soon as you land on the pellet, or else Astro will just slide or fall off and you'll get a hover instead. If you do get the hover and not the jump, then it means that you actually jumped too late. When trying to land on this pellet, you will sometimes get hit by the spikes in the front of the pellet shot, or you will just miss it completely. This happens a lot and it will take a lot of practice, but once you start getting more comfortable with it, landing on the pellet will be a lot easier. When you do get a jump from the pellet, just make sure to do your full jump and then do your boost, and then this will give you plenty of time to think about the next part, which when the boost ends, just do a mid-air spin and then a hover, and you will easily make it to this platform every time. This will now bring us into the second major section of this stage, which is the old bear route. So what you will need to do is that whenever you're doing your hover, try to land on the very edge of this platform and then do a boost with the dog. You should be able to get 2 boosts off this platform, and then you'll have to do a slightly longer boost to get to this flipping platform, do another short or mid-range boost to get to the next flipping platform, and then you'll need to do a boost to get to the trampoline. From there, you should get a slight bounce from the trampoline, and you will need to do a boost to get up to where this next platform is before the slide. Now there is a bit of a trick here to save a few frames. You'll want to land on the front edge of this platform where you can see this black corner. This black corner is a little bit lower than normal, so when you boost from it, you'll actually land on the edge of this slide a little bit faster and start going down faster and at a higher velocity. As you're sliding, when you get near the bottom, you're going to want to jump. You do not want to jump off of this too late, because when you land on this curved edge that puts you on the wall, you will actually get stuck and you will not be able to go up the wall. So make sure you jump at the right time so that way you can actually hit the curve of the ramp and start running up the wall. This will put us into the infinite jump setup. Now there are a few things you need to know before you try to do this infinite jump. The first rule is that you cannot get a wall boost. You need to be running at normal wall speed or a slightly faster. If you do get the mega wall boost here, then you will not get the correct jump you need in order to pull off this infinite jump glitch. So make sure you're at normal speed, and then you'll need to go across this corner in order to get to this purple block. I mentioned earlier that you will need to turn on your camera controls and to put on the centering camera by pressing circle. This is imperative in order to pull off this glitch. You cannot do it without this. So as you get up to the purple block, as you get near the top, you're going to want to start holding the circle button a few frames, and then after that you will need to press and hold the X button in order to jump. The entire time you're doing this, you'll need to be pushing forward with the left stick, and then after you hold the jump button, you'll need to let go of the circle button in about 0.1 to 0.2 seconds. The entire point of this is that we want to trigger the control to move the camera with the left stick. Once that's activated, you want to immediately cancel it. If you do see this little graphic coming to the screen from the top saying that you've triggered that, then you've held on to the circle button a little too long. You want to make sure to do this just right so that way that does not come up on the screen and that you do actually get a really high jump with Astro. If done correctly, you'll notice that Astro will stop jumping away from the wall and will actually start going back toward the purple block. Once Astro reaches the peak of his jump, stop holding the jump button and stop pushing the left stick forward. Let the left stick hold in its neutral position, meaning you're not touching it at all. And then when you fall down, you should land on the front edge of this purple block. When you do, if done correctly, you can jump and you'll notice you'll get a bit of a floaty jump. You should be able to jump again and you'll just be able to keep jumping in midair. This is how you trigger the infinite jump glitch. If you do land and nothing happens, then it means that you have multiple problems in your setup. If you land and then you get a little bit of a jump forward, this means you got really close to triggering it and you're on the way to actually mastering this technique. Whenever you do get this forward jump and kicking up a dust cloud, make very, very minor adjustments to what you're doing until you find out exactly what it is you need to do in order to trigger the infinite jump glitch. Once you do trigger the infinite jump glitch, this will move us into the final major section of the stage, which is the infinite jump section. So as soon as you get this, you'll need to do a boost forward and slightly to the right, and then you will need to do 5 more boosts after that one. The reason for this is that you do not want to hit the death barrier in front of you or above you, and if you do this, then you'll want to start doing small jumps and then boost. If you did not get the correct timing, then you'll notice you'll hit the death barrier above you and it will actually kill Astro. So if you want to play the safe route, after you do your first initial boost from the infinite jump glitch, do 6 boosts to the right. This will get you perfectly away to where you do not touch either death barrier. The optimal way is to do 6 boosts in total, 1 from the infinite jump spot and then 5 with a hard cut to the right. But in order to get this, you will need to immediately react and boost as soon as you get the infinite jump glitch, and then do 5 very well timed short boosts to the right. Once you get past that, you'll be making a straight shot to the goal, and if done correctly, this should give you the perfect setup to where you barely get past the death barriers at the very end of the stage. So you will need to be doing very well timed jumps and short boosts in order to cover as much height and distance as you possibly can. So what I like to do is whenever I jump with Astro, I wait until he raises both of his arms completely to the top before I do my next short boost. This is a very easy to notice visual cue to make sure you're getting the maximum height and getting your boost in the correct timing, and this will also set you up perfectly to where you will barely get over the death barriers at the fastest possible time near the end of the stage. You can't really see the end of the stage unless you point your camera up, and you may waste some time doing that. If you can pull it off, then I say go for it, but if it is messing you up, you will actually just kind of have to practice this section over and over to know about where you need to go. There's a group of 3 stars that I point Astro toward in order to go straight toward the finish button, and this is what I look for every single time that I get the infinite jump glitch and start moving toward the end to go. There is another death barrier before the end of the stage, so what I like to do is that whenever Astro's head starts reaching the very bottom of this platform where the ending is, that's whenever you can start switching to just doing boost and not have to jump anymore. Note that doing the boost will slightly pick you up every little bit, so you will need to be careful that you don't get too high and take a long time falling down to hit the ending button. If done correctly, you should be able to easily get your time under 1 minute for this stage. And as always, here is a run with me using all of these strats. Thank you so much for watching the video, and as always, if you need additional help, feel free to ask me in the comments, or you can join my Discord, or if you want help from other runners like me, then be sure to join the speedrun.com Astrobot Discord, which I will put all of those links in the description below. And as always, you can also follow me on Twitch, where I do live streams sometimes. I haven't been doing much lately, but I did just upgrade all of my equipment, so I'm hoping to get back into it pretty soon, and I'm hoping to get back into the any percent category as well. Again, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time. Good luck with your runs.